Good morning. The July 9th, 2019 meeting of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners will come to order, and we're pleased to have this morning with us our own Director of Purchasing, Mr. Bill Peacock, to render our invocation. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledge to the flag.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to have another day of life, for the opportunity to share your word, to be a role model for others, and to provide for this county. Father, we're thankful for the blessings you've given us, for the people that you've placed before us to govern us. We ask that you be with them, that you lead their hearts and minds so that they can make the right decisions that will benefit the citizens of Douglas County. Father, we're thankful for all of our county employees, for those that protect and serve, for those that keep us from harm. We're thankful for them. We're thankful for all the staff and the hard work they do, and we just pray that you will continue to bless them as they perform their duties. Father, we ask that you heal our land, bring us together as one people, as one nation. Give us the strength to move forward as one people, one nation. Father, we ask now that you be with us as the deliberations occur today. We're thankful for all the blessings you've given us, and we ask for forgiveness of sins. And we ask these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you, Mr. Peacock, for being here with us this morning and leading us in our invocation. And good morning to the citizens of Douglas County. We value your voice and we appreciate your participation in county government. Clerk, do we have any public comment today? I believe we have
yes, ma'am.
one person. We have one citizen, Mr. Larry Pierce. Mr. Pierce, we appreciate your participation in county government. And we ask that when you come and address the government this morning, that your subject matter be germane to the agenda. You will be allotted 3 minutes to speak. However, when you hear the buzzer or the little bell ring, that means that your time has expired, and I ask that you wrap up your concluding thoughts. Mr. Pierce, if you could give us your name and address and your subject matter, I would greatly appreciate it this morning.
Larry Pierce, 4120 Van Sant Road, Douglasville, Georgia. I'd like to say it's good to be here, and wherever that camera is, I'd like to say hello to the citizens of Douglas County, and I want y'all to start tuning in more and start getting your neighbors to watch. Even though we had a good parade, sometimes I think we are living in a parade. So, consequently, I didn't get to speak yesterday, citizens of Douglas County. I was escorted out by the Sheriff's Department, because as you know, I got the stalker hat. But on the agenda note, what this is about is feathering a nest. Now, let me say this. I'm sure Mr. Ken Bernard can explain this. This is improper and it's illegal. And the reason it's illegal is because she's trying to explain that she wants to be a member of different societies according to the agenda, okay? And according to the resolution. Remember a couple of years ago I brought up that she hired too many deputies. Well, on the same bottom of the page, on 4516.7, the Attorney General says you cannot be employed by the GBI, you cannot be employed by the Sheriff's Department, and you cannot be a police officer. It's the opinion on the bottom footnote by the Attorney General. Now, this here, and I said it before, the only way I know what to say it is poppycock, okay? This is baloney. Now, in doing that, she says she's doing this, okay. The one institution that she wants to be a member of is already enacted when I brought it up to your attention that she went to Las Vegas. Here it is, to the International Brotherhood of Las Vegas. You need a cooler and you need an assistant. Larry Bussey's her assistant. Then she snuck in the cooler underneath the museum. All right, let me tell you what it's going to cost. It's going to cost approximately $7,500 to be a member. And I said it before, and this time I'm going to say it again, and maybe end it on this. This affiliation of what she's trying to do is as if badge number 51 for the Boy Scouts to become an Eagle Scout. And if there was a badge 51 for the Eagle Scout, this here is putting wings on a bullfrog so when it jumps, it doesn't bump its A. Now, I don't know when everybody's going to wake up.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes, ma'am.
the buzzer.
Okay. And I want to give you this copy here.
You could give that to the clerk.
Pardon?
Our clerk, Lisa Watson.
Okay.
Take it.
This came direct from the association in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I called them up. You know me, I got a hot finger.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Pierce, for your participation in county government, and we will take this matter under advisement. Thank you for giving that information to our clerk. Mr. Pierce, so you're going to hold a meeting up to, okay, you got it together? Okay, thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to approval of the minutes, Board of Commissioners. Board of Commissioners, you have the commission meeting minutes of June 18th, 2019, and the work session minutes of June 17, 2019, and the executive session minutes of June 17, 2019. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions that need to be made?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Being none, the minutes stand approved as presented. Next on the agenda, we have our business items, which is I'll start with tab number 4. Tab number 4 is authorization to amend the animal services budget for donations received to be used for spay and neuter from the 4th annual spay and neuter fundraiser in the amount of $18,335. Would you like to expound a little bit, our Director of Animal Services, if you could just tell us a little bit about this before I call for a motion?
Yes. The annual spay and neuter fundraiser, this is our 4th year. It's been a success every year and has raised a considerable amount of funds that have helped us spay and neuter animals for adoption at the animal shelter. We've done approximately 1,200 animals to date. And with the funds we received this year, we should be able to complete the year out and get every adoptable animal spayed and neutered. We've already done approximately 400 animals in-house this year. And so with the help of the Humane Society, Mr. Mulcair started the fundraiser, and the Humane Society helps greatly in organizing the event. It really is our biggest source of funds for spay and neuter for our animals at the animal shelter.
Wow, that's amazing. What I'm going to do first is call for a vote from the Board of Commissioners, and then once the vote is complete, and then I would like to generate a few comments from the board and also the party that's here today. All right, Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to approve the authorization to amend the Animal Services budget for donations received to be used for spay and neuter?
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Into discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. Congratulations. Also, would just like to hear from some other members of this group, if you could. I believe Ms. Susan Duncan.
Hi, yes,
Hi.
I'm the president of the Douglas County Humane Society, and we just want to say thank you for supporting us. And our gala fundraiser helps the community so we can assist them as well for the spaying and neutering of their animals. Hopefully that'll decrease stray animals in the community as well as decrease the pet overpopulation, so they won't get to the shelter. And we also are excited to be able to give the funds to the animal shelter and help ensure that we don't have any, future intakes as well, getting them spayed and neutered before adoption. So we appreciate all of you and again the community for supporting this.
All right. Thank you.
It's kind of like, it feels strange.
Mike Mulcair.
Being on this side of the microphone, but I wanted to call attention to the success of this initiative, and it goes to the embedded goodwill and spirit of our community. Our private citizens, our small businesses, our large businesses have all supported this effort. To the tune, so thus far over 4 years, we have netted over $83,000 to the effort of spay and neuter. And for obvious reasons, year number 5 next year, April 27th of 2020, we'll break a magic number. I'll let you figure out what that number is. I'd like to introduce the people who have been instrumental in the effort, most of whom are here. You've heard from Susan Duncan and Francis McMillan. We also have with us Bill Peacock is on our team, Connie McKinnon, Bill McKinnon, Dee Wilkie, Julie Hudson, Leslie Hinchman. Want to mention Pat Fulgham, who is president, chair of the Animal Control Advisory Board. She could not be here today. Peggy Mulcair. Susan and Mike Brantley have been tremendous in assisting this effort. Tamara Manny, and also Vanessa Franchikowski, and I got that name right. So I wanted to specifically thank that group of folks. This is an interesting assemblage of people because it includes citizens, members of the Animal Control Advisory Board, members of Animal Services and the Douglas County Humane Society, and those organizations work seamlessly. You can't tell one from another in terms of where their heart is in this effort. So with that, I yield to anyone else that wants to say anything. All right. I think we're going to present a check now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here we go, Francis.
And presented the check for $18,335. This, I thank everybody involved. If we spay and neuter the animals, it helps the pet overpopulation far more than anything else we can do. So I really appreciate everybody's hard work and everybody that attended the fundraiser and donated also.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. We are just so excited about the tremendous amount of work that you're doing to support the spay and neuter efforts for our animals here in Douglas County. And I would like for our Board of Commissioners to stand and give you all a standing ovation and a round of applause.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We would like to come down and take a photograph with you. You have time for us? We'll come down. Oh, absolutely. My commissioner wants to make a comment, and I apologize when I said any discussion earlier when I called for the motion. I guess I moved too quickly. Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'll be brief. Obviously, there's no way I can let Commissioner Emeritus be in here without acknowledging him, but not just for that reason. The effort that I've watched with this spay and neuter program, it's a good model. So for all you that are behind the veil, this is something that we throughout Douglas County should look at. It's efficient, it's effective, it's done better probably than September Saturdays and what it represents. I mean, you got to know how this was pulled off. So I appreciate it. It helps offset operating expenses. I mean, you did it right, Mike. I mean, you've left a great legacy to think about, leveraging nonprofits and the community to help offset tax dollars, and you've shown the way. I could not go without saying that. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else? Any other commissioners?
We just appreciate all your hard work, and the gala is always a lot of fun, but it goes to a great cause, and I'm a dog lover, but I've had cats too, so I just appreciate what you do for the community. Thank you.
Commissioner Carthen, thank you so much, Commissioner Guida.
Again, I visited the animal shelter. It's a fine-run establishment. It makes me proud to see what we're doing here in Douglas County for our animal population and for those who come in to adopt the pets, to already have them spayed and neutered. So again, thank you for all that you're doing in our community to make the quality of life, not only for the citizens, but for our animals, a great quality of life. It's appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very good.
We're coming down to take a
Yep.
photograph.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not picture shy, I'm just not getting out. Okay.
Can we smile?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take a couple pictures here. I'm gonna ask her. When she take this up, she got a picture. Yes. Sorry. Sorry. No, thank you, ma'am. Just back one in. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
All right, Board of Commissioners, and also to our citizens of Douglas County, we'll move on to our next item, which is tab number 5. Tab number 5 is a resolution authorizing the coroner's office to operate under all previously established laws, rules, regulations, and procedures adopted by any Douglas County Board of Commissioners pursuant to any applicable laws. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion for this resolution? I know you had an opportunity to read it yesterday.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion about this resolution?
Yes.
Please. Okay. Vice Chairman Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll frame my comments regarding this effort by the Office of our Coroner. It's one of being in the right direction. Recently, obviously, our school board, and this is I'm saying comments I've made in the past. You know, we talk about, we encourage our children to strive to do better. We encourage our employees to attain higher performance. We asked our governors to, our governance bodies to be certified and get acknowledged and all those things that we always want to do better, right? We strive for the overriding, like, do better. And I think it's important that we all find creative ways. You don't have to maintain the status quo. You don't have to acknowledge the status quo. You can create your own future. Tomorrow, and this is related, we're going to NACO, National Association of County Officials. First time ever. The prior administration did not believe in the national body. They believed in ACCG, local state. Going to a different level, a whole different level of understanding and learning and continuing access. And so when I see someone in an office that's elected, who's at least trying to find something to say that, hey, I can get better. There's a measurement, there's a standard out there. I encourage it, I support it. You're allowed to. I can do it this way, right? And so I not, whenever it comes to education, and anybody can get in, I'd love to have that conversation. It's important. We encourage our students at the collegiate level, do better, go higher. So this is one of those where I applaud Coroner to at least trying to establish some type of body that she can be part of, something that can be nationally recognized. Whether it's state recognized, nationally, just do better. And so for that, I applaud. I, as a county commissioner, again, I'm just one vote, I will support this all day long and say, yes, I will affirm your intent, your effort to come before us and say, hey, I need your support. So, Madam Chair, I just want to put that on the record. Now, this is important, and this is related, since it's on the agenda, because I need to clarify statements I made. The coroner, you know, some of the commentary that comes forth, and Madam Chair always asks us to try to keep it, my word, fair way. You know, without the personal. And I believe behavior and commentary that's demonstrated sometimes goes across the line. Right? Again, I made the comments in my last session that were here about 3 weeks ago that which got into, you know, do you know what the coroner does? Do you get behind the scenes? Do you get the bereavement process that has to be done? Do we care? Do we override our commentary of being so minute and so down, like really? We're missing the point of what has to happen, that we all will go that way one day. None of us are exempt from the coroner. Not one person is exempt from the coroner. All right? And so in our commentary, and this is where this is important, when we stepped off the stage at our last meeting, and we got up and Madam Chair hit the gavel, and I stood here next to my esteemed colleague. My colleague grabbed me by my arm. Will you quit saying, I don't care? I'm like, I didn't mention your name. Well, I just want her to do her job. You're gripping me. My point is, we get so caught up in our commentary that sometimes our actions, like, do you know you just violated my space? I'm an elected official. We're not that common. Don't ever grab me to get my attention. Call me Kelly, Mr. Robbins, whatever you want to call me. Never violate my space. Right? That's important. I've had plenty of arguments with my colleagues over time, and we go at it, swinging your fingers, the governor that got up on the president, all day long, twice on Sunday. Things that you would want your mother to hear and not hear. But what you don't do is ever try to control another person to get their attention. I get the hugs, I get the handshakes, but never grab somebody to try to, like, you can't stop my mobility. You can't violate, you can't impede to try to draw my attention. I don't have to give it. I have that right to all citizens, especially the youth. Never let a person violate your space. My parents said, but don't let nobody touch you when you're younger, right? That would get you in a different place. Don't let nobody hit you. I'm not suggesting that, but I think that there's a line that we cannot cross in the execution of what we do. That's important. You guys know I oath, serum, lie detector. I don't never do that, right? There's a line that I have. I love what I do, right? And I give plenty of room for people to have their First Amendment and all that. But it's pretty easy. You can slip into a Second Amendment moment when you can over-exercise. And we see sometimes the effort that goes, it's like, oh man, stand down. Do y'all see y'all behavior? It's like, it's pursuit. It's like, whoa, back up. Back up, right? And trying to get your point across. They can coexist. Two opposing comments can coexist. It's like, okay, then you keep moving. But what you can't do is use force, because there's always a counterforce. And then you find yourselves in the places where you don't want to be. So I'm going to conclude my comment about the coroner. Again, continue on. This is all related as far as trying to do better. We know that everybody is not perfect in that commentary, and this shows us an exercise that she's doing better in finding standards and measurements that are important. And we're open to the public to scrutinize, especially us as elected, and hold us accountable, do those things. But let's just keep this in balance, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it in the fair way. Madam Chair, I yield.
Thank you. Any other discussion before I go any further? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 3-1 vote, and the motion carries. So we'll move on to tab number 6. Tab number 6 is authorization to approve supplemental agreement number 5 with Michael Baker International Incorporation in the amount of $152,304.09 for additional design services in connection with Lee Road Phase 2 widening project P10004428 to be funded through the 2016 SPLOST funds, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Do I have a motion to untable this item?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please just indicate by raising your hand.
To untable.
Okay, to untable. Okay, 4-0, and the motion carries. Now, I'll start again. Tab number 6, authorization to approve supplemental agreement number 5 with Michael Baker International Incorporation in the amount of $152,304.09 for additional design services in connection with the Lee Road Phase 2 widening project P10004428 to be funded through the 2016 SPLOST funds, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Guida.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I had a problem with this in the fact that the $152,000 is coming out of SPLOST funds. It just said SPLOST funds. And I understand that $11 million has already been transferred into the Lee Road widening project, and the Lee Road widening project was not part of the original SPLOST. I'm saying that this 152 should come out of those funds that's already been put over there, instead of just milking the system more and more for their own little projects. District 2 is already 1.8 million over in Parks and Rec projects for their district. And this is starting off at a bad time when you just start overrunning, but you've got $11 million. It should come out of those funds and not out of funds that is going to push projects for all the other 3 districts off the table or either down to the bare minimum. Like in Parks and Recs, we may not get a concession stand in Fairplay and Belle Arp because too much money is being spent in District 2. We're not going to get fencing. It's pretty evident we're not going to get the fencing. We're not going to get a new concession stand at the Winston Ballpark, the oldest concession stand in the county, because of the overruns in District 2. And yesterday at our meeting, Commissioner Robinson stated the $10 million set aside for economic development was his money. I don't see that anywhere in the minutes or on in the packet for the splosh. I think he thinks that all of the splosh is his money. But I think this money should definitely come out of the $11 million he's already transferred out of economic development, and I think Annie Wakey intersection. He's transferred all that money into this project, which was not originally on the list to begin with, and now he wants not to use it, but to just keep pulling extra money in from the funds that's supposed to be coming out of, going to be allocated for our projects in our districts. So I just object to where the money is coming from. And I yield back.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Guider. Any other comments? Yeah, Vice Chairman Robinson.
Sure, why not? Lee Road is an important project, and while we appreciate, and sometimes you see me restrained. Yesterday I was restrained on different levels because I'm dealing with different topics that I want to address. So I didn't really deal with this yesterday on the level that needed to be done. Again, try to keep it away from the personal. Think about the SPLOST that was approved by the public. There was an overlay of $10 million. It had nothing associated with it, but I appreciate if you go look at some of the James Bell's architect, bless his soul, he was one of the best activists I liked because he just stacked it straight. Go look at some of his videos, and he'd sit at the end of my town hall. Well, Commissioner Robinson, you didn't get all 40 million, you only got 10 million. I'm like, I know. I get it, right? When I voted down the original Fox Hall deal, right, to come back and support it, it had to come with conditions, right? That was my whole point. Yeah, I voted for it, but it came with conditions, which is like, okay, the same 40 million y'all want to put out there in Fox Hall, I got a multi-million out there in District 2 that, like, won't you bring that money out here? I began to advocate for District 2. In other words, you guys are doing everything away from District 3. You're going to start this bus system without Riverside. That's fine. I'm advocating for District 2. This is important. We didn't control the administration at the time that it originally started with the SPLOST and was put on the referendum. Okay? This is important. You always need 3 votes. So while there's that civil war out there in District 4, the battle for the center-right, alt-right versus the moderate Republicans, and there's treason going on over there, and I'm looking at this thing like, okay, well, I ain't getting involved, but Tom and Mike need a 3rd vote. And so I was able to position District 2 in quite a well-done way. Because if you're so caught up in politics and the power and trying to get, you lose sight of why you're here. And I just say, like, I get it, I'll take it, but we weren't in control. We weren't in the majority. I had to posture myself, and they didn't just give it. And so when I'm listening to this like, but where were you in the room? Why weren't you advocating? You didn't think I existed at the time you were in the majority, but now all of a sudden I'm the big, like really? I'm just 1 vote. I positioned District 2 quite well. And like recognizing, like, well, okay, I'm only 1 vote. I can't get nothing done without 2 other people. I'm not a chief executive, but I know how to, yes, I'm good at what I do. I'm very good at what I do. I won't ever back off like, no, I'm not gonna have false humility. I know how to move the agenda. I get it. District 4, I'm like, I get it. I feel you. But bring something to the table. Say something versus no. Know how to get in here and do this. It's not in my interest really to help, but right now I think it's in the best whole of the county to avoid, like, come on, let that go and get in the game. Quit worrying about what I'm doing and focus on what you need to do. We're all equal. One vote. Move the agenda along. So if I chose to sort of help, hey, check this out. It's over supposed to be for Thornton Road. 10 million supposed to go on Thornton Road. It's like, but the prior administration blew the budget. They talking about me. What? Don't make me go open this up. Like I said, I'm gonna let it go. I'll bring it up in 2020. Like, okay, we'll mark this. I'll come back to this. Right? What we're on with the money? We'll come back. But the point is, it's like, well, as opposed to putting 10 million over there in Thornton Road, like I said yesterday, well, this lead road really should have been done. She's right that we shouldn't have to redirect here when we're trying to clean up the mess that the prior administration put forth. Now, again, we'll keep it there in our transportation. We won't cast it so wide. But my point being is, but come on now. So you're right, we doubled the price. It was $11 million, now it's $21 million to do Lee Road because of the cost of time. And we got to put more money, like, okay, we're having to clean up a mess. I agree, but that still was a priority. And so then I look at my colleagues that in District 1 and District 3, 3 votes. Like, yo, guys, I'm willing to give up this Thornton Road. Like, okay, but we need to fix this mess that was created. It's going to cost us more because we can't do what we really want to do in Parks and Rec because of how it was structured. I get it. I get it. But please, let's again, I love the arguments. It's always good to have balance to the conversation. This says, no, that ain't how that went down. I get it. But at the same point, well, why didn't they deal you a hand when you were in the majority? Because you were in a war. They ostracized District 4, and I just watched it. Because there was no, like, well, I know you need a vote. Henry would step in, okay, 3. Like, you're so busy being political with Roy and being treasonous against your own party that you let us step right through that trap. And that's what I'm saying, come on. I ain't got no, I have nothing but respect for my colleagues. I really do. I get what she represents for the county. No, that's straight District 4. But don't be mad at how we're handling our hand in light of sort of what you're seeing the end results is. I think the public really do get it, but I'm like, come on, now let that go. You were in the majority. 50 years. 8 years since I've been here. Come on. You've been in office 40 years almost. 10 terms. And you complain about what I'm doing on a community center, trying to get a street widened, some street lights. I'm proud of what I can say. Yeah, he did all that. Yep. He did that. Yep. But what can you point to that that you could take credit? Quit trying to marginalize and invalidate the effort I'm trying to put forth for the greater good. This is what my citizens asked for. So I'm listening to her, but my citizens are like, look, that's exactly what you asked for when you got it. I'm not into power. I don't need a title, don't need the chairmanship, don't need that. Quit finance committee. I'm almost done. Quit finance committee under time. Like, okay, well, you know what? Let me get out your way. I'm not going to be involved in that, Director Hallman. Well, I quit. I don't need power like that. I want to get stuff done. My citizen asked me, we want this, I deliver. That's what the 35,000 people who hired me, the majority of them, I get stuff done on their behalf. And so when they start complaining about what I'm doing, then we got a conversation. But until that point, all this cross, like, man, just stay focused now. Stay in the game. I get the politics, I'll take it, but okay, but get some stuff done, though. So this is appropriate, the debate, the arguments of how to spend money, but don't get so personal where it rocks you. Get something done. Now, it's not my interest to help the other side, but I think it's in the best interest of the county. Come on, cut that out. Play the game, be strong, be big. Get in there and get some stuff done. I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Vice Chairman Robinson. Any other comment? And I'm going to call for there you go. Commissioner Carthen, I believe you have a comment before I call the question.
Valentin, Just to get some clarity for those who are watching, can you talk a little bit about this scope of service? Because I know it started in 2004, so this is way before I came on board as a commissioner. But can you talk a little bit about why the scope is now increasing?
Certainly. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Good morning.
Yes, this project has been a long ways in the making. And the plans were started back in 2004, 2005. And the regulations change over time. When the project was getting closer to going to construction, to the construction phase, the funding was not in line for it. And so it was put on the shelf. Now that the funding has been identified, we're trying to get the plans updated and the environmental documents updated so that we can then go to construction. The goal is to have all of those elements updated and ready to go by June of 2020. And so this additional work is required to do that, to accomplish the plan update. And one of the requirements whenever you have federal funding on a project is that the environmental document can't be any older than 6 months. It has to be updated within 6 months of the time of the advertisement for construction. So that's what this particular change order or supplemental agreement is intended to accomplish.
Okay. So once, if it's so decided by this board to increase the scope of this and to allow the funds to come from SPLOST, what happens next? What happens with the Lee Road widening project? How do we get the rest of it funded? Can you speak to that?
Well, there is funding certainly that has been set aside from the SPLOST local funds, and there is funding in federal funding that is currently allocated to the project that has been in discussions with the Georgia DOT intended to be lumped in together for the construction phase. So there's funding that will be left over from the right-of-way acquisition phase, and that will be rolled into the construction phase once the plans are updated. And so all of the funding will be lined up to be able to advertise the project. The expectation is that there's a lot of steps between now and June that have to take place. There's coordination with utilities as well. There are agreements that we're going to have to enter into with the utilities in order to compensate them for having to relocate outside of the right-of-way. So all of those steps will be ongoing between now and next June. And the ultimate goal, of course, is to be able to be ready to advertise and go to construction in 2020 to widen the road from 2 to 4 lanes with a median, center median.
Thank you so much for your explanation. I yield, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen. Okay, Commissioners, we have a motion and we have a second. Please prepare to cast your votes.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we? Yes. Thank you, Clerk. We have a 3-1 vote, and the motion carries. All right. I'll move on to new business next. And Board of Commissioners, if you could, when you are deliberating, when I ask if there is any discussion, if you could just keep it tight to maybe 2 minutes or 3, we'll keep you focused a little bit if we could, okay? Next, we have new business, and what I want to do, I'm going to make a slight adjustment on our consent agenda. We have tab number 10. I want to pull it out and call for a motion to move this to a new business item because it needs to be separate because we have some changes that need to be discussed. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to remove, to pull number 10 and make it a new business item? This item is a resolution to approve Project Southern Charm. Do we have a motion to convert this to a new business item?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion, any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please indicate by raising your right hand to move this item. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote. So now this item has been moved to the new business item, and it will be considered tab number 10. It'll be still number 10, but it'll be considered under the new business item. All right. We'll start with a new business item. Tab number 7, appointment of Chandra Pemberton to the Douglas County Development Authority to fill an unexpired term effective immediately. I have to untable this item. It was tabled at our last meeting, Board of Commissioners. Do we have a motion to untable this item?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please indicate by raising your right hand to untable this item. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote. Clerk? All right. The item has been untabled. Board of Commissioners, I'll repeat it again. We have an appointment of Chandra Pemberton to the Douglas County Development Authority to fill an unexpired term effective immediately. Please, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 3-1 vote. We have 3 yeses and 1 abstain, and the motion carries. We'll move on to tab number 8, authorization to purchase right-of-way and easements from parcel number 01580250049, located at 2978 Bright Star Road in connection with the John West and Bright Star Roads intersection improvement project, waive lien release, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion about this item? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. Tab number 9, authorization to purchase easements from parcel number 002202500012, located at 5401 Post Road in connection with the Post Road Bridge project, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. Tab number 10, which is also a new business item, is we have a resolution to approve Project Southern Charms participation in the Douglas County Tax Savings Incentive Plan, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal and financial review. We have a few substantive changes, and I would like our county administrator to elaborate.
Yes, Madam Chair. We worked diligently last night, the Development Authority, Joe Fowler, the county attorney, myself, with David Corbin. So the tax incentive program review completed by Terminus in October 2018 had 4 items that were recommended to be included in all future tax incentive plans. So one was the clawback, and then the definition of full-time employees, notices of non-compliance, and then assignment rights. I think most all of these are already taken care of. It's just the clawback that we were working with Chris and Joe on to get that included. Mr. Corbin was out of town and he's between flights talking to us on the phone. So I think we finished that up this morning.
Okay. Thank you so
So
much.
there will be some substantive changes to
Changes.
the incentive plan.
Okay. Would like to-
So, Madam Chair, whenever y'all vote, what we'd like y'all to do is vote by hand if this is approved to include the substantive changes that have been outlined by Mr. Teal.
All right, would like to bring Mr. Chris Pumphrey, our Executive Director of the Development Authority, if you could just tell Board of Commissioners and the citizens of Douglas County about this project that we're bringing forth today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Project Southern Charm, as we discussed yesterday, has been looking at the Atlanta area and the Charlotte area for the greater part of this year. We became the finalist site for Georgia with a building that is being developed by Prologis, a real estate investment trust who's developing a 925,000 square foot facility on Factory Shoals Road in Lithia Springs. As I mentioned, us being the finalist site, it became basically a competition between the Charlotte area and the Atlanta area, and ultimately Douglas County. So we were fortunate enough to have Project Southern Charm select Douglas County. They are an e-commerce retailer. They will be creating up 981 jobs here in the county, paying an average wage of $15.82, with a number of those positions being salaried positions, kind of in the management space, ranging from 40 to mid hundred thousands in the salary range, with the bulk of the operation being comprised of those who are picking and packing and fulfilling orders. They look to be in operation, fully in operation by October of this year. We are working very closely with the Georgia Department of Economic Development, the Metro Chamber, in bringing this project to fruition. And ultimately, our board, the Development Authority Board, passed a unanimous resolution that the project be on the county tax incentive plan. And that's what we're here today, is to request that the Board of Commissioners approve and adopt this project on the tax incentive plan.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Pumphrey from the board, or Commissioner Guider?
Thank you. Chris, explain to the public the point system.
Yes.
And how you arrive at that.
Sure.
And that determines how the schedule for the
Yes,
abatement.
ma'am.
Okay.
So we worked very closely with past leadership in redoing our property tax incentive plan. And what it allowed us to do was focus more on, projects, quality projects that we want here in the community, but also gave us more consistency across the board as it relates to what we do. And so instead of us trying to figure out what tax incentive plan, we can apply to a project or not, we created a point system. And that point system is based on the number of jobs that the company is projecting to create.
Which is, for this project, was
Which for this project is 981.
Is what?
981.
981, okay.
The points are granted towards the average wage, which is a minimum of $15 an hour. You have to pay a minimum of $15 an hour in order to get a point on that. And then points are generated on the capital investment. The capital investment on this project is going to be based on the building that is developed by Prologis, which is roughly $50.43 million, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that neighborhood. So those all kind of comprise of points, and the point schedule generated 37 points. And so there is a tax incentive schedule for each points that are awarded. And so they're on the 35-point schedule, earning a 37.
You stated a minimum of $15 an hour. That's for any position within the company?
It goes by average wage.
Average,
Yeah.
so you've got your executives in that formula also.
Correct.
So you're not starting everybody out at least $15 an hour.
Yeah, but they're fairly close. They're not too far from the 15 an hour average salary.
Okay, and then the clawback clause is the one that's being looked at by legal and our consultant as far as if they do not adhere to these qualifications, then there is a clawback clause in there that we can do something with the abatement. We can take it away. So.
Correct. There's a provision that the company can have 80%, can meet 80% of their projections. So we always encourage companies to be conservative on their figures so that we don't have to institute those clawbacks, but there also is kind of an 80% kind of excuse me, threshold there in order to meet that commitment and be in compliance. But with that being said, we do have an annual process that we go through in ensuring that the companies are reporting and that they know what their projections are expected to be, and that we're all in constant communication so that we never have to get to the point of having to institute a clawback.
We have a committee that oversees all of this.
Yes.
To protect the county. Really.
Correct, correct.
All right. With that, I yield back.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Guider. Vice Chairman Robinson?
Yeah, I'll keep this one simple. I've spent enough time with economic development recently that I'm good. And so my question is really, again, for the broader population, Director Pumphrey. This does, being consistent, this does fit the investment policy that we set forth a few years ago, correct?
It's a part of our pre-approved property tax, and it's our tax incentive ordinance, yes.
So this is something that when we have policies, it's to make the decision-making easier, faster, and repetitive. Policies are set for repetition, to make efficiency. Every now and then you have to make some changes within.
Correct.
But overall, that's the general purpose of a policy. So you're comfortable where we are. Your board of directors has signed off on that. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
We're comfortable. That's always important. We want to make sure you're not out here by yourself, okay? That being said, again, this is on factory shows.
Yes, sir.
All right, in District 2. And the reason I bring up where it's at, and Chris, I want you to speak to this because in a broader sense, District 2 carries a lot of, I was going over it with my intern this morning, if it's the weight that District 2 carries for the county. It's not just about residential. We're highly dense. We have a lot of commercial industrial that we carry. We carry 80% of the industrial. We also carry a lot of the commercial. And at some point, we get built out. You know, I've been saying that. And I appreciate the efforts because we're shovel ready, operational ready. We can receive this, and we appreciate us being considered. Those people who were before us that laid down the fibers, who built the warehouses to allow us to accelerate the growth, thank you. We had nothing to do with that. We just inherited that. We appreciate that future thinking. And Chris, we're the benefactors of those previous decisions, those previous leaders. That being said, the timing, and I know my colleague is not here, but this is something I know is going to carry for him. The jobs that are coming online, again, for the abatement, the exchange, as we call it recently,
yes, sir.
The exchange, 900 odd jobs. We've got a 5-year capacity. But what's the acceleration? Usually you spread it out over 10 years, some type of, give the exchange. I don't want to lead you,
Yeah,
but you know
yes.
where I'm going.
Yeah, no problem. So as I mentioned, the plan is to have the operation open for first week of October. The goal is to have 153 positions filled by the end of the calendar year, with the plan of having all 981 by the end of 5 years.
What was that date
by the end
again?
of 5 years.
5 years.
5 years having all 981 in place. So it'll be an aggressive plan. Breezy has been working with their HR department and recruitment team in the strategy for getting out. We're going to be hosting job fairs for the positions. Once we get everything kind of finalized, we'll send out the information so that you all can share it with your constituents, and we'll share it with the broader public about when those job fairs will be, kind of how they will work. I don't think they're going to follow kind of your traditional, you just walk up and apply for a job. There'll be some requirements centered around that. So we'll make sure we get all that information out, but the first 153 should be in place by December 31.
And I appreciate that, and I'll close my comment. Madam Chair, to you and the administration, and I know that Commissioner Carthen is working on our website and our own presence. I know this is a private sector component, and I know the chamber and everybody's involved, but that's a lot of jobs.
It is.
That is a tight window. I've hired 100 people for an assignment in 30 days. That means I got to look at 1,000 people. look at it, 900 people over, like, that's a lot of, and I know we've got technology, and when I was in the game, I'm just saying, I recognize, like, y'all know how aggressive that is.
Yes.
So, Madam Chair, I ask that if your pleasure, whatever we can do to help really enhance their efforts to get the word out that these jobs are available so they can help them, whatever we can do.
Okay.
I ask, you've got my support. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Thank you so much, Executive Director, for your feedback.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Exciting times, 981, that's right on the cusp of 1,000 jobs here in Douglas County.
And-
Wow, we have a motion and a second, but before you all click your button, I just want to make sure if the clerk could read this into the records. This resolution is to approve the Project Southern Charms participation in Douglas County tax savings incentive plan and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal review and also the substantive, I can't get the word out, changes discussed by County Administrator Mark Teal. Those substantive changes. Is that okay?
We didn't get a motion.
Oh, we didn't get a motion? Okay. I sure didn't. Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second in discussion. Commissioner Guider.
I need to ask just one question. Where did you say this was going to be located?
It'll be located on Factory Shoals Road. The address escapes me right now, but it's Factory Shoals Road, right off of Thornton
Now,
Road.
has that road been built out?
Yeah, so actually the road has been.
Widened for the big trucks?
Yeah, as the developers have been developing along the road, they've been widening the roadway. So actually, I think on the north side of the road, they've added curb on the first leg and then further down the road.
And there's a red light there at Thornton Road?
Yeah, there's a red light there, yes.
Okay, so we don't have to do any road work?
Yeah, no, the fortunate thing is to what Commissioner Robinson alluded to is that area has gotten kind of the base infrastructure investments that have taken place. And now that we've completed our Sweetwater Master Plan and the developers understand what they can and cannot do, they're now kind of following along that plan. So the road has been widening along the way as the developers have been developing along Factory Shoals.
All right, thank you. I yield back.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote and the motion carries. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will add, we are working on getting an announcement done, so just stay tuned for that, but it should happen sometime this week.
Okay, an announcement and press releases, all the above. Thank you so much. We're so excited. Great job. All right, next we have our consent agenda. Board of Commissioners, I will start with tab number 11, authorization to implement the Animal Services Court Division Program in an effort to educate citizens about responsible pet ownership. Tab number 12, authorization to approve an agreement with the Douglas County School System to finance an additional DARE officer for the elementary schools to address drug awareness, to be funded by the Douglas County School System, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 13, authorization to renew the contract for administrative solutions for the administration of inmate medical claims and inmate reinsurance for the period of July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 14, authorization to accept a check in the amount of $4,900.05 from the Douglas County Sheriff's Office by order of the Douglas County Superior Court as abandoned property. Tab number 15, authorization to approve a contract with Edwin Ford as senior civilian chaplain with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office with professional fees not to exceed $40,000 annually, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 16, authorization to approve task order 2019-6 with Atlantic Coast Consulting in the amount of $10,000 for the purpose of procurement evaluation support for privatization, solid waste services, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 17, authorization to accept the Family Connections grant amount grant award in the amount of $50,000 for the period of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, and with authorization of a contract with Douglas Corps, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents and amend the budget. Tab number 18, authorization to accept a grant from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for the Juvenile Justice Incentive Grant in the amount of $209,551 with no required matching funds for the grant fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents and amend the budget as necessary. Tab number 19, authorization to accept a check from the Douglas County Law Library in the amount of $174.49 for the repair of a courtroom Mundo pad. Board of Commissioners, that concludes our consent agenda. Do we have any discussion on any particular items before I call for a motion? Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any item? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes for this consent agenda. We have a 4-0 unanimous vote, and the consent agenda passed. And thank you all. We'll move on, last but not least, to our announcements. Board of Commissioners, do you have any individual announcements regarding any of your district activities? Any announcements? Okay, I'll just read the announcements today. They're relatively short. The announcements, the first announcement is the Douglas County Parks and Recreation Department invites you to a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate completion of the Boundary Waters concession stand press box on Wednesday, July 10th at 11 a.m. at Boundary Waters Park, which is 4992 Highway 166, Douglasville, Georgia, 30135. For more information, please contact Mr. Rick Martin, Director of Communications and Community Relations of Douglas County. And last but not least, please join the 2020 census team. Apply online today or meet a recruiter on site on June 24th or July 24th, on July 24th or July 31st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Douglas County Public Library at 6810 Solomon Drive. These positions will provide great pay, flexible hours, weekly pay, and paid thinking. Contact 2020 Census at 1-855-562-200. Again, that concludes our announcements for today. Board of Commissioners, there is anything else to come before this body?
No.
Okay. If there's nothing else, Vice Chairman Robinson.
Yeah, just a general notice for the citizens. And more information come at our next meeting, but my annual Homeowners Association Boot Camp will be held next month, August. We're fine-tuning the details right now. I've gotten a couple calls from a few of the communities, people asking with new officers, asking for more information about rules of engagement, parliamentary rules, and so those are things that have been duly noted. We do recognize we have some mature HOAs, but there are always new members. And everybody think they know what it means to be up here, but as you know, we even have to struggle. So we're sensitive to that, so we're going to have an emphasis more on rules of meetings, how to conduct meetings, have some breakout groups, et cetera. So this year, we're going to revamp it a little bit more, making it a little bit more engaging as opposed to the talking head. It'll be more of a workshop. So stay tuned. At our very next meeting, we'll get more information, and Tiffany Stewart-Stanley, help me close this out. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much. If there are no other further comments, this meeting stands adjourned.
Yep.